إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونشكره ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من الخلق وخليله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح للأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وما قبضه الله إليه حتى ترك الأمة المحمدية على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك ولا يحيد عنها إلا خاسر. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله عز وجل وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. اللهم أجرني وإياكم من النار اللهم آمين. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي الأمارة بالسوء بتقوى الله عز وجل فهي وصية الله عز وجل للأولين والآخرين. يقول الحق عز وجل في محكم التنزيل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: ولقد وصينا الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم وإياكم أن اتقوا الله. اللهم اجعلنا من المتقين، اللهم اجعلنا من الصادقين، اللهم اجعلنا من المؤمنين المحسنين. آمين آمين يا رب العالمين. My dear brothers and sisters, it is again another opportunity for us as believers, as Muslims, to witness some of the blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal on us today only. Some of the many blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal on us, or one of them rather, is this beautiful gathering that we have over here. If it wasn't by the guidance of Allah Azza wa Jal that we were able to make it over here healthy, in a better state of Iman, we wouldn't have had a chance to even think of making it over here. But Allah Azza wa Jal made it possible for us and arranged things for us so that we can witness this blessed moment of the believers, full of mercy, full of dua, full of knowledge, full of prayers. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us benefit from this khutbah. Allahumma ameen. My dear brothers and sisters, I advise you and myself to fear Allah Azza wa Jal and to be mindful of the presence of Allah Azza wa Jal in every aspect of your life, as He Azza wa Jal instructed the nations before us and ourselves when He said in the Quran, indeed we have instructed the nations before you and yourselves to fear Allah Azza wa Jal. Be mindful of Allah Azza wa Jal. Be mindful of the presence of Allah Azza wa Jal in everything and anything that you do. Whether you are a father, a mother, a son, a daughter, a worker, an engineer, a doctor, a teacher, wherever you are, be mindful of Allah Azza wa Jal. Before you do anything that may upset Allah Azza wa Jal, think twice. Think that Allah Azza wa Jal is watching you. While you think, or we think, that we are hiding from all human beings and family members and community members, we can never hide from Allah Azza wa Jal. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us. And may Allah Azza wa Jal guide us to see the right as right and help us follow it. And may Allah Azza wa Jal guide us to see the wrong as wrong and help us to stay away from it. Allahumma ameen. My dear brothers and sisters, today inshallah ta'ala I would like to share with you a very important topic that really touches and is very relevant mostly for our younger generation. I deal with a lot of youth and youth programs. And whenever I deal with them, the more I deal with them, the more I realize that there is a great disconnect between them and their history and the history of their ancestors. They literally know nothing about their ancestors, our ancestors. They really think that the advancement that humanity had reached today is only because of the Western society. They did everything. They built everything. They are the smartest. They are the most generous. They do everything. Whereas the Muslims, we always think that we belong to the third world country. We're just a burden on society. Is that true? Let's go back, inshallah ta'ala, a little bit in history of digging, to realize and find out that our ancestors, may Allah Azza wa Jal be happy and pleased with them, they made great achievements that societies of our current days are still benefiting from. Let me just mention one thing, that according to the United Nations, the oldest university in the world was built by a Muslim. The oldest university in the world. While when we see people bragging about Oxford and Harvard and all these great universities, yes, they are great. But there was something greater. Thousands of years ago, more than 1,000 years ago, that was built by a Muslim. Not only that, it was built by a Muslimah, a woman. Her name is Fatima al-Fihriya. She built Jami'at al-Qarawiyyin, the University of Al-Qarawiyyin in Fez, in Morocco, and it is still operating up to this date. How many of our children know about this? How many of our children know that the first one who built the first navigation system that made it possible for even Christopher Columbus to come over here and claim that he discovered America? That was a lady, a Muslimah, Maryam al-Usturlabiya, during the era of the Andalus. How many of our children know this? How many? My dear brothers and sisters, it is our responsibility to create that connection and re-establish that connection between our generation and their ancestors, so that they can get rid of this inferiority complex that they suffer from. Even my generation suffered from it, and the previous generation suffered from it, and the current generation is still suffering from it. It's time to state the facts to our children, inshallah, so that they can learn better and become proud of their identity as Muslims. When it comes to non-for-profits and funds and scholarships, we think that this thing was established by the Western society. Let me tell you that the Muslims, they established this non-for-profit work and scholarships long time ago. And they called it, they gave it a name, waqf, awqaf, endowments. Some of the awqaf are still functioning up to this day. What's a waqf? A person, before his death, he says that this property, it's not going to go to my inheritance. It's not part of my inheritance. It's going to go as an endowment. The return of it, the money that is gained from that property, it will go back to non-for-profit work and organizations and people who are in need. To the point that our ancestors, they mastered this area of non-for-profit work. Let's cite some of the examples that they did in terms of non-for-profit work and endowment. There was a waqf, al-waqfu ala talabat al-ilm. There was a waqf for knowledge seekers. You want to study something, any major, there was a funding for that. There was a scholarship dedicated for that. You go ask for it and then you go, your journey of seeking knowledge. Al-waqfu ala tazwiji man la taqdiru ala al-zawaj. There was an endowment, a fund specifically dedicated for those who cannot afford to get married. They cannot afford rent, they cannot afford to buy furniture, nothing. There was a fund that they can use so that they can marry and protect their chastity. Al-waqfu ala raddi al-munqati'in ala biladihim. There was an endowment for people who travel and they lose their money, they cannot afford to go back home. So there was an endowment specifically dedicated for that. You go and ask for the money, I need to go back home. Imagine this. Imagine. Al-waqfu li damani al-mutlafat. There was an endowment for repairs, for a storm or any damages that damage your property. There was an endowment for that. You go and ask for money to repair your property, your shop, your whatever you lost, your house. You go and use that money to repair your property. Al-waqfu lis-saqi. There was an endowment to water the plants in the neighborhoods. Somebody gives that money and says, this money, just to plant the trees, keep it green in the neighborhood. Al-waqfu li-it'am al-hamam. There was an endowment to feed the pigeons in the neighborhood. Al-Waqfu lil-Kutub. There was an endowment specifically dedicated to write copies of the book before the printing machines were invented, so that people can have access to knowledge. Al-Waqfu li-Jumalin tuqal. There was an endowment for sentences to be repeated in society so that they can elevate the intellectual level of the society. Instead of saying curse words here and there like our society does, no, they pay some people to spread these sentences so that they can elevate the way people speak to one another. Al-Waqfu لدور الإيواء لليتامى واللقطاء ورعايتهم ولرعاية المقعدين والعميان والشيوخ. There was an endowment to host orphans, people with special needs, blind people and elderlies, people who cannot afford, they cannot become a burden on society. There was an endowment for that. Have we thought about the history of our ancestors? And did we make an effort to search about these endowments instead of just bragging about what the current society is doing? Yes, we're proud that we're part of this society. We sometimes benefit from that. We have no problem against supporting not-for-profit organizations that are here, even for non-Muslims as well. But let's not forget that our ancestors also helped shape the direction of these organizations that are functioning now. They mastered this to the point that some of the imams in some of the countries are still getting their salaries from endowments and awqaf that their great-grandfathers had established long time ago. Government does not pay their salaries, no. Their great-grandfathers are actually those who pay their salaries. They left awqaf, endowments, properties, investments, that the return of that investment, the money, the profit from that investment goes to paying the salaries of all the imams. Those are our great-grandfathers, which we are proud of. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect them. May Allah Azza wa Jal enter them into Jannatul Firdaus. And may Allah Azza wa Jal give them and reward them the best reward for the things and the achievements that they have established, and for the proud history that they have left and legacy that they have left behind. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه لعل تكون ساعة إجابة. الحمد لله وكفى وصلاة وسلاما على عباده الذين اصطفى. أما بعد. Inshallah ta'ala, many brothers and sisters, as we are celebrating and are happy with this month of Rabi' al-Awwal, the month of the birth of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we ask Allah Azza wa Jal that He reward him the best reward He Azza wa Jal ever rewarded a prophet on behalf of his nation. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant us a moment with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Jannatul Firdaus. Allahumma ameen. I'm not going to get into the debate of whether it's halal or haram to celebrate, because the Imam of the Masjid, mashallah, has more knowledge to let you know whether it's a bid'ah, whether it's an innovation to celebrate or not. But I'm here to just remind ourselves that if we want to celebrate and be happy with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best way is to follow his sunnah. The best way is to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah. What was he doing? What was he avoiding to do? And we do the same thing. That is the best way. We stay away from the debates of bid'ah, not bid'ah, innovation, not innovation, halal, haram, no in between, gray. Stay away. I am here, this is an occasion for me to take advantage of the momentum of the reminder of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our masajid, in our communities and social media. I take advantage of that momentum and inshallah ta'ala try to pick one sunnah, one. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, من أحيا سنة من سنني كان له أجرها وأجر من عمل بها. Whoever revives one sunnah of my sunnah, he will get its reward and the reward of every single one who hears it and starts to apply it. Imagine people, they forgot the sunnah of smiling, they don't smile anymore. And you say, you know what, inshallah ta'ala, from now on, whenever I meet my brothers, I smile. وَتَبَسُّمُكَ فِي وَجْهِ أَخِيكَ صَدَقَةٌ. Smiling in the face of your brother is an act of charity. I'm wearing my mask whenever I see my brother. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Show my smile, my teeth, inshallah, put it back. Right? Sadaqah. And I tell my brothers about this hadith, I tell my sisters about this hadith, inshallah ta'ala, and the sunnah is being spread. And you tell them that it's actually a sunnah. Make the intention, inshallah ta'ala, to spread. One of the sunnah of Rasulullah or actually statements that he made it about a specific country. The country of Yemen. And the people of Yemen. He singled them out of many countries and tribes. He said, Al-Iman Yemeni, wal-Hikmatu Yemeni. Iman, belief, is Yemeni. The people of Yemen, they have a pure, nice, beautiful Iman. Wal-Hikmatu Yemeni, and wisdom is Yemeni too. It belongs to, they have wisdom. Maybe this generation that is fighting and killing each other, they lost that wisdom. But may Allah Azza wa Jal help us and make us the cause to restore the wisdom of the people of Yemen. Allahumma ameen. Rasulullah when he saw the people of Yemen coming into Medina, he got so happy and he told his Sahaba, Ataakum ahli Yemen, araqqun nasi quluba. The people of Yemen, they come to you. They have soft-hearted. They are soft-hearted. Subhanallah. He used to wear garments from Yemen out of his love towards the people of Yemen. But today, my dear brothers and sisters, this part of the world since 2015 has been experiencing, according to the United Nations, the worst humanitarian crisis. We're talking about people are not dying, they're not afraid to die from COVID or from cancer. They die because they don't have food. They die because there's no clean water. That's how people die in Yemen. They're not even afraid from rockets or getting killed in the middle of the war. No, there's a lack of food. The past Ramadan, there was a case of a doctor who was found dead alongside with his family members in their house, in their homes. Dead because they did not have enough food in the house. A doctor, not anyone. We can't say, no, he didn't go to school, he did not make, he did not put an effort to seek a better status in society. No. People, they die because they cannot ask somebody else. And there's nobody else to ask. Everyone is in need. We're talking about a population of 24, 26 million. 22 million of them, they're in need of help. We're talking about widows, orphans, people, kids, they cannot go to school. We're talking about teachers, they don't have salaries to teach, and they're forced to change their occupation so that they can survive. Alhamdulillah, I have the great honor to work with an organization called Pure Hands. It's located here in Texas, in America. Since it was established in 2015, alhamdulillah, we were able to send more than $300 million to help the people of Yemen. When I say $300 million, it sounds like a big amount. Yes, it is a big amount to me and to you. But when you pour it in Yemen, it's like you pour water in the sand. It's not going to do anything. People are in need. 20 million people are in need. How much can you support and can you give? But today, inshallah ta'ala, I'd like to tell our people and our brothers and sisters in Yemen that your brothers and sisters here in America, they love you and they remember you. And they follow the sunnah of Rasulullah of loving you. Today, inshallah ta'ala, with $170, it can feed an entire family of 7 people for 1 month. $170 will feed an entire family of Yemenis for an entire month. And if you do more, Allah gives you more. If you want to match the $300 million of the organization, and we have one of the descendants of Abu Bakr Siddiq who is willing to give a lot, then may Allah bless you. Or if we have a Umar ibn al-Khattab within us who is ready to give half of his wealth, inshallah ta'ala, for his brothers and sisters, and inshallah ta'ala, Allah will give you back. Because the hadith says, مَا نَقَصَ مَالٌ مِنْ صَدَقَةٍ. That no wealth will be decreased by spending, by giving charity. You give, Allah gives you more. You give more, Allah gives you always more. May Allah Azza wa Jal keep you safe. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect you. And may Allah Azza wa Jal make you never experience the calamity that the Yemeni brothers are experiencing today, inshallah ta'ala. At the end of this khutbah, inshallah ta'ala, we'll be standing over there by the door, inshallah ta'ala. The burn rate of this organization regarding its project is only 7%. And in your donation, will go, inshallah ta'ala, to the project that you are sponsoring, and 7% is only dedicated to the overhead cost over here, which is unheard of in terms of not-for-profit organizations. May Allah Azza wa Jalla bless you. May Allah Azza wa Jalla reward you immensely. May Allah Azza wa Jalla increase you in knowledge and in iman. Allahumma ameen. اللهم يا ربي لا تدع لنا في جمعنا هذا ذنبا الا غفرته ولا هما الا فرجته ولا دينا الا قضيته ولا مريضا الا شفيته ولا ضالا الا هديته ولا مريضا الا شفيته ولا غائبا الا رددته ولا ميتا الا رحمته يا ذا الجلال والاكرام. اللهم متعنا باسماعنا وابصارنا وقوتنا ابدا ما احييتنا واجعله الوارث منا يا ذا الجلال والاكرام. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر المسلمين والمسلمات في كل مكان يا عزيز يا رحمن. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين والآخرين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين وأقم الصلاة.